Can you just say a little bit about yourself?
Testing. I'm Andrea.
Okay, wait. I'm bring it down just a little bit. Give me a second. Okay, keep saying. Go back. Say
I am Andrea. I speak
Perfect,
English.
perfect.
I'm very smart. I am highly intelligent.
All right, I like that. Okay, so our levels are looking about equal. I'll be watching them throughout the stream. Okay.
Sure.
My hair's okay. Is it all fucked up?
I mean, it could be better. No,
yeah, that's funny. All right, cool.
Thank you.
All right, so. And actually, I'll do it in the thing, but I would love the opportunity to dunk on Niko. Let's fucking go.
I'm down.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy DJElf7. I'm start one more time. Yeah. Hey, what's up? It's your boy DJElf7. Today, I got a very special guest. Yeah, but I'm gonna let her introduce herself, as you know. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I am Andrea. My last name is Rovenski. I'm a YouTuber. I make YouTube videos. I like to consider myself a comedian. Some people would dispute that claim. I often dispute that claim. I am a part-time activist and full-time cringy YouTuber. I do a podcast called Above It All because I am, in fact, above it all. And that means I am better than most people, especially Niko House.
Damn, you're pulling off the Anna K move. Well, it is what it is. Yeah, we all have our choices in life.
This is Max the dog right here.
Huh?
This is Max the dog.
Oh, what's up, Max? Yeah, come on screen. Yeah, it's all right. We'll come on later. Yeah. What kind of dog is that?
I don't know. He's a mutt.
That's cool. All right. It's a beautiful looking dog, though. I like the when they have the tiger stripes. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
So the thing is that occasionally I watch Niko House, but to tell you the truth, for the last ever since the Tulsi campaign, that kind of dropped off. I've approached Niko on a couple issues, and I never really, those issues were not attended to for, reasons that may be attended to another video. But recently, he actually put Andrea on his, and I did not know about Andrea before. I found out about her relatively recently during the Force the Vote time. Andrea, you reached out to me, right?
Yeah, because I saw some of your videos on a People's Party, and I wanted to get you on, but we kept missing each other, so it was like,
That's cool.
It happens.
Cool, yeah. So the very first time I ever heard of Andrea, I'll admit that she reached out to me, right? Yeah, she said, she was interested in my MPP work, which is, thank God for covering that story, you know what I mean? Because you can see with Our Revolution LA, now saying stuff, there's a lot of, it turns out that I was right, yeah?
Yeah, I wish we would have done this sooner, then we could have gotten a victory lap going, but,
Yeah, but the progressive media outlets are not talking about my issue at all. In fact, they are remaining silent even after the evidence has been released, and that's really disappointing, and that's really forcing my hand in other ways. Yeah, so the thing is that, I didn't even know who Nomiki was, to tell you the truth. Yeah, I just been, focused in, Tulsi world and, Yang world and taking care of activism stuff, but then he put you on his channel, and then I saw it was what? And then there was a debate, and I do think that he, technically, I'll be honest, I thought that he did win, right? But the thing is that the whole conditions of it seemed very strange. He was.
I think it depends on how you quantify a win.
Huh?
I think it depends on how you quantify a win. Personally, I went into the debate to discuss the idea.
The way that I felt uncomfortable with. I didn't really like the way, I felt like he brought you on, and then I felt like he was cutting you up in order to get at Nomiki. And how do you feel about that? Yeah?
I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. But I went into that debate to have a conversation on the subject matter of force the vote and Donald Trump getting banned on Twitter. And then 40 minutes into the debate, he just kind of decided to stop talking about the subjects and just decided to flail about Tulsi Gabbard is the greatest politician in the world, except AOC is evil. So if you say anything good about AOC, you're dumb and you're canceled. But if you criticize Tulsi's recent transphobic bill, all of a sudden you're evil and you can't. How dare you criticize Tulsi Gabbard? So it just turned into a flailing contest. And I personally if you want to judge a winner based on who came with the most ferocity and anger, sure, Niko House did. I was just chilling the whole time,
Well, okay. Well, the fact of the matter is that, right, I also like Tulsi Gabbard a lot.
I'm down to get into a flailing match with you as well, but,
okay.
Maybe we can save that for another time.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
I'm going to have to call the person back, yeah. Okay.
Oh, shit. You're just gonna let it ring? All right, this is great. This is good.
Yeah, and they're both hooked up. So
Holy fuck!
Yeah, sorry. It's
All right.
It's a long story. I don't know.
I'm sure it's a really long story.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing is that there was the Tulsi part, right? I really don't have a problem with him, saying Tulsi's cool. You know what I mean? As in terms of attacks on AOC, I have mixed feelings about that. I think that there are certain things where she's coming up short, which are right to be called out. Which I think that
agreed, absolutely.
Yeah? But then I also see like a constant attack, which has its value to a certain extent. But we also see that often the mainstream media is accused of purposely sowing division amongst the left in order to gain rating. And, the amount that I see Niko engaging in, I would say, look, I've been in charge too, so I get it too. You know what I mean? The thing is that when you are a boss man, I would call, Niko a boss man. You know what I mean?
He certainly behaves like one.
Yeah, there's always people coming at you all the time. You know what I mean? So I can understand when you start to get into like maybe a super like hyper aggressive mode because you're living in a different environment. You know what I mean? People are competing for that money. They're trying to get at you, blah, blah, blah. But, what I saw was, when I saw you, like, look, you have, as from the Force the Vote, I guess you're a critic? Or
I'm highly critical of Force the Vote. And it's not necessarily the strategy itself, but I saw this really early on that like Jimmy Dore especially was just trying to use this as an opportunity to attack AOC and to like set up his audience for like, see, I told you AOC is really a fraud, which is like, if you want to criticize AOC for her stance on foreign policy, I'm right there with you. If you want to criticize AOC for her not being like, a more vociferous advocate for certain policies, I agree with that. But it's when you start to like try to cancel her and say like we got to primary AOC, like I don't know what that accomplishes. Like if you're gonna expel resources to primary people, I can think of 431 like extra Congress people you should primary instead, So I just think it's like just a pure like propaganda grift campaign. And that's my opinion on that. So I think like forcing the vote as a strategy may have been a good idea. But I don't think it was ever given its fair shake because it was just kind of grifted upon by like Nick Brana, and I would throw Brianna Joy Gray in there. I'd throw Ryan Knight in there. I'd throw a couple of those people in there. They're just trying to like make a name for themselves by saying like, I'm further to the left of AOC. Like I'm an anarchist. I'm way to the left of AOC, right? I criticize her all the time, but like also I'm not going to cancel her. I'm not going to like and it's also like Niko House makes video after videos. Like every day he has to come up with another reason to attack AOC, and it's like
I think it's for the same reason that the right wing media does it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Not that I'm mad at right wing media all the time, but for this particular reason, it's not cool because it's in order to drive ratings.
Absolutely.
And if there's another explanation, you know what I mean? Niko never really, I have received an email from him, but he really doesn't really talk to me, in any real significant way. So there's no way for me to really get answers to this particular question. You would think that myself, who's the first person to act on Force the Vote in person, you'd think that myself as a Tulsi supporter, if a Tulsi supporter is leading the charge, you'd think Niko would be for it. But instead of choosing to, work with someone who is proven to, be really 100% about the issue, instead he chooses to platform someone like yourself, And actually, his beef, how many subscribers do you have again?
I right now have like 8,700. When we debated, I was at like 8,000.
Before the whole Niko beef,
it was probably like around 8,000.
Oh, it's been. Oh, so you're okay. I didn't know you were that big. Yeah.
Is that big? I guess. I mean, I've had my YouTube channel for a long time, so it's like I've got a lot of dormant subs as well.
Okay, I thought we were the same. I thought we were the same size or something. I mean, clearly you're another category for the moment. Yeah. I mean, maybe.
Well, I'll try to boost you. Don't worry. Look at this dog. Holy shit.
Look, we see things politically differently. You know what I mean? So do what you really believe in. You know what I mean? I'm a big Tulsi. Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure?
I mean, you seem reasonable enough. That's fine.
I appreciate that. Yeah. You could see actually, I don't know if you saw my recent one where I had Republican and Democrat all in the same room. Trying to bring together bring togetherness. That's what this is about. So I was really puzzled because it really seemed to me that the target wasn't you, but it seems to me that the target is Nomiki. Like he literally said, "Oh, why is Nomiki, working with this person who's I think he called you a white supremacist.
He calls me a white supremacist, a racist, a Nazi. All of those are very untrue statements. And it's,
you know what?
it's
all the people that Nick works with, right? Yeah, out of all the people that Nick works with, how about the head of Rokfin? I think that's a white dude running that. How many minorities are in that group? Maybe they have a lot, maybe they don't. You know what I mean? But
I mean, Niko House made a documentary with Jack Posobiec, someone who literally caucuses with like Nick Fuentes, who is an open and proud neo-Nazi.
I don't know any of these names. I'm too busy like on the streets working my.
It's all good. I mean, it's all good. Like a lot of people don't know this stuff, but I mean, like he literally makes documentaries about how Black Lives Matter are terrorist organizations, about Antifa are terrorists, and they're just trying to kill innocent people. And it's like this guy's not doing this as like a dumb teenager in like their bedroom. He's doing this as like, do you know how old Niko House is? Like he's like looks like he's 30s, 40s.
You know, like he came up. So here's another thing, right? Yeah, he talks about he does have some activist starting, but he started in college, which is cool. You know, what I mean, I also started doing activism in college. He got pretty far.
I never went to college. I am a true street urchin, dropped out of high school, baby.
I love that. Yeah, that's cool. You better off. You know what I mean? Really going to medical school fucked my life. Yeah. That's why I'm in the condition that I am now. It really fucked me up. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. Yeah, that school debt. You know what I mean? But it freed me in other ways. You know what I mean? I learned to adapt. So the thing is, you know, look, Niko has a long time in the game. I know you have 8,000 subscribers, which is good. But it seemed to me like he's punching down to an extent. You know what I mean? It seems like you know, Nomiki versus Niko is like a fair matchup. You know what I mean? And
I would say it's Nomiki has a lot more subscribers than he does, so I think this is trying like his. I think so. I'm not sure. She is.
Let's check right now. I
we
don't
can check. Let's do a live fact check. This is. We got to make sure our story is straight. Live fact check.
Let's go for it. Yeah. Look, we can work together. You know what I mean?
Nomiki has 63,000 subscribers.
Okay.
Niko has 43,000, so about 20,000 different.
Okay. All right. So, I didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Surprise.
I think that this is like Niko does not get taken seriously in a lot of like circles, and I think this is kind of like a revenge campaign in a way of like
seriously, but interesting that I could see that happening too. Yeah, people like that get proud. Hey, I'm that way too. I'm proud. Don't fuck with me. I'll fuck with you. You know what I mean? So I get that. I get that mentality, and I can't hate on that. That's kind of a boss move, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, you got to play your role. You know what I mean? That it's kind of a shitty role though. Okay, so maybe interesting. Okay, so he wants to get at Nomiki. Probably Nomiki just wouldn't agree to come on his show. That's probably what happened. So he probably reached out to someone who would want to be platformed or whatever, and just took an easy shot. And you know, there was some talk about the forced vote. He did mention like maybe like that Tulsi thing, like maybe once, maybe twice.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like the most of it was really him like going in on you. Maybe that's just what I remember because I was so like taken aback at.
It was really bizarre. Like he did this classic strategy of like he would cut me off in the middle of what I would say and then say, "Oh, so you're saying this?" It's like, "No, I'm actually in the middle of explaining what I'm saying. If you'd let me finish." It's like, "Well, but you just said that." So yeah, that was actually the start of a sentence and you didn't let me finish this. Well, why did you say that if you didn't mean it? Well, actually, I was going to finish my sentence, but you kept cutting me off. So it was like one of those things where he just kept trying to get sound bites. He kept trying to like make me uncomfortable, which just didn't happen because I've debated Nazis. I've debated like straight up neo-Nazi people that tell me like they want to kill me straight to my face. I've debated Trump supporters for 4 hours on an end. Like I don't like, for me debating, I don't get thrown off. I don't get emotional. I don't get, whatever. So like I think that's what he kept trying to do, and it was just like not really working. Well, I mean, it worked enough for him, but like it wasn't, something that he could make like super viral moments about. And that's why I think he bailed at the second debate, because he said at the end of the first debate, he was like, "Yeah, sure, we'll talk again tomorrow about Tulsi Gabbard." And I was like, "All right, I'd love to talk to you about Tulsi for another hour." And then instead of doing that, he just like, did this giant smear campaign saying I'm a Nazi and Nomiki Konst is funding Nazis. And it's like, what are you doing, dude? All this because you're afraid of a debate? And if Niko watches this, hey, Niko, when's the second debate? You promised it. It's on video. I agreed. Where is the debate? So, I mean, if he wants to come back on and debate me again, I'm willing. So, I don't know. I think he tried to do something, didn't get what he wanted, but then tried to weasel it into a win anyway.
I have to admit that, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I really, like I told you before, I kind of don't watch Niko House that much anymore because I don't feel like he's ever going to attend to my issues. You could see that he's basically, I have a good story here. I've been proven right, and he just, to this day, it's a progressive media blackout on me. So,
well, you're on my show now, so there you go. Or vice versa, whichever way.
Yeah, so, but I have to admit that him and me have a lot of similarities. He might be sometimes like you hear in the music industry, which I come from, yeah? Sometimes people will be afraid of someone coming into their lane and they try to shut them out, you know what I mean? And that's fair. I'm not going to say that that's a dirty tactic, that's in business, right? Yeah, that's fair. We have this weird mixture between business, right, which is about the money, and ideals here, and we have this kind of clash here. And, I've had to struggle with that too, and I feel for Niko, but just being someone who's been an entrepreneur, which I think he obviously is, I am also that way. I am also the type to cut people off because I feel like I can predict what they're saying, and I just want to, like, speed up the conversation because I got a lot of other shit to do. Look, he's running MCSC Network. He's got his own show, which is, hey, look, you got you're 8,000. Wait, 8,000 is still way further than me. Like, you guys are just way, like, quantities, like, by factors, right, more than me. I'm at 500 subscribers. You're at 8,000. You said Niko's at 40,000? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they probably gain or lose in one day what, like, I've, like, worked up for this whole time,
Absolutely. I mean? Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just, like, it's, like, a completely different mindset framework, but, so if that's not really I'm not trying to, I think he just does it naturally. I don't think that I think that you're thinking that's some kind of, like, deep plan, and I think there is a deep plan behind it, but
I think there's, like, a grand plan. I don't know if he, like, plans out every move or whatever, but I think he's got, like, an end goal, and he tries to, like, wrap everything that happens into how to reach that end goal. So it's like, oh, I, had debated someone and I didn't go the way I think it did, so let me try to find a way to weasel out of it to make myself look like an ultimate winner or something. That's how I would read it.
Okay. So rather than saying something such as, like, wait. Actually, I want to bring in one more factor before I talk about it and, like, try to, assimilate all this information together and try to, like, make sense of it and try to, like, attribute a reason.
Sure.
So another thing is that when we look at Rokfin, we notice that he's been promoting Rokfin a lot lately, and to tell you the truth, I really have deep love for a lot of the creators on Rokfin. Just want to shout out, don't know how you feel about Frank Analysis, Slow News Day, Kim Iverson, Convo Couch. I know you're not big fans of them, but I'm huge fans of them. But
I honestly do not watch that much YouTube. Because, like, I put out, like, a 2-hour show every day, and then, like, I'm covering this impeachment thing, so that's, like, another 6 hours every day. So I just do a lot of my own content. So most of my interactions with those people are on Twitter. I don't watch many of their videos unless people tell me to watch them for, like, my own content. So it's like, all right, I'll watch one of their videos and then make fun of them if they say something stupid. But outside of that, I don't know them that well, is my point.
Okay. So I would say, even despite the fact that I do believe that I'm on a progressive media blackout regarding Niko House, and just to make this a little bit further for people who might say, Ed, you're bugging, go to his footage from the Force the Vote, and you'll see that I am clipped from the footage. I basically removed me.
Didn't you, you went on there and you were, like, trying to do this song and dance about how the People's Party is, like, basically a bunch of posers. And I noticed that I only saw that clip on Twitter. I didn't see it in any other footage that circulated on any other, like, compilations or whatever. I just saw it, like, on a raw Twitter upload,
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, we take a look at Rokfin and the business model that he's really pushing nowadays, right? And I respect that, and I love the creators, but that big but's coming, yeah? If you go to Frank Analysis, which I love him to death, don't want to hurt him in any way, but if you look at the comments, you'll see people within our crew saying, Rokfin didn't let me on. What are you guys gonna let me on? There's some kind of, like, gatekeeping. There's some kind of, like, and that's almost, like, to a certain extent, censorship, right? You'll even see him in the in that particular episode with Franco. He's like, some big YouTuber wanted to come on, right? But I said that they weren't cool, so I shut him out. Did every other
I should try to sign up just to get in on that drama. Like, just, like, get rejected and then make a video about it. That sounds fun as fuck.
Did other people in Rokfin, right, have any choice? Supposedly, like, they are partners. Yeah, supposedly they get part of this raid token or whatever he calls it. You know what I mean? don't, right, their money is also affected by the choice to not bring on this YouTuber. Did they have any say in it? It doesn't seem like that to me. You know what I mean? Maybe it is that way, right? But the way he presented it was not that way. So, you know, for someone like myself who is often, you know, thrown to the, you know, look, Niko's a black guy. That's cool. You know what I mean? Being black does come with certain, you know, problems associated with it. You know what I mean? Like people's assumptions of racism, things like that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But how about being Asian man, or how about being trans? Guess what? We are also on the outskirts, maybe even more on the outskirts. Who's more underrepresented in media? Asian Americans and trans people, or is it black men? Let me think about that. You know what I mean? If I ask people on the street who they had more positive associations with, black men or Asian men, what do you think's gonna happen? If I ask black men or white trans people, what do you think's gonna happen? You know what I mean? Niko, you know, maybe he just doesn't understand our level of marginalization. Maybe he just doesn't understand how, you know, people that are in our position. But
I just want to say this as well, is when Niko House did this bizarre smear campaign about me, at that point, and I still get the reverberating effects from this, even though it's like 3 to 4 weeks ago now, I got thousands of messages and shit, people posting my dead name, people posting pre-transition photos.
I don't really like people exaggerate. Was it really, maybe it was hundreds? Was it really thousands?
Over the course of the last 3 to 4 weeks, yeah. It was like maybe like 300 or 400 the first day, and then there's like every day I get like several comments on random videos about it. So it's like, it's still something I have to deal with, even though like for him, like my thing about this is like, for Niko, it was like, oh, I'm just going to do this smear campaign and then like blah, 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 right? And then it's over. He's on to the next subject. He's attacking AOC for the 18th time, right? So then, but for me, like let's say one of my videos comes across someone else's Twitter feed, or their YouTube algorithm points them in my direction. They'll go like, aren't you that disgusting, you know, slur here that like was like, and it's like I still have to deal with that every single day for the most part. Like maybe, you know, not every single day, but I get inundated with this stuff, and it's like he's not going to go out there and say like, oh, please don't be transphobic to this person or whatever. And this is the kind of audience he's collecting of people that don't like or respect transgender people at all. And while he's trying to claim that I'm like a Nazi or whatever.
That's okay. That's we're entitled to our own opinions. Yeah. I don't really, you know, I also don't believe that Tulsi's bill is really. So screw it. Let's discuss that for a second. Yeah.
Sure.
Why is it like, you know, I'll tell you what I think, which I think is what most people when they see it, which is might not be true, but they're worried about, you know, they hear about the mixed martial arts thing, you know what I mean? They're worried about like you know, someone like myself, you know what I mean, converting to women and just beating the crap out of women, you know what I mean? And that's
the thing about that is. This bill that Tulsi proposed is not necessarily for that. It's mostly aimed at like high schools and colleges and like middle schools, right? So it's like someone who's like 13 or 14 years old is not going to be like a, you know, a 40-year bodybuilder. You know what I mean? So like we're talking about like situations where like the people are not going to be even close to equipped to a position where you can get into a nuanced argument. And if you do want to get into that nuanced argument, this is my position. It's like, if you really care about making sure that the fights are equal, that the matchups are equal, do it by strength class, do it by weight, do it by muscle mass, do it by bone density. Don't do it by gender, right? Because there's a lot of situations where there's like a lot of African American women who are banned from women's sports because they have too naturally high testosterone levels. Like there's a lot of people that are like there was a woman who was banned from participating in the women's Olympics because she took no drugs, she had no hormone altercations. It's just her genes had it that she had a naturally high testosterone level, and the thing was like, oh, sorry, you've got too much testosterone, you're not allowed to be a woman in the women's sport. So if you want to base it on your hormone levels, if you want to base it on your strength or muscle mass, do that. You know, don't base it on gender. That's my position.
Okay, so I apologize if it seems like I'm trying to like just defend the position, because I'm really not.
Sure.
Maybe I am subconsciously. That could totally be true. But the thing is that, right, I see validity in point 100% that if there's an alternate, right, there should be something in place, right? So you're saying an alternate schema where people are, and that makes sense to me. That really does, you know what I mean? But there should be something in place to prevent, right, the fear that I talked about at the beginning, which it seems that you are also agreeing that could be an issue.
Oh no! Oh no! Up! Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Are you there?
Yes.
I see you. I hear you, but I don't. Okay, I'm gonna.
Your
click on
webcam
thing.
is not functioning?
My webcam is not functioning.
It is not functioning.
Okay, let me. Yo, I have a ghetto stuff. I'm plugged into a what is it called? A hub. So
Right.
Just plug all my stuff. Let me just.
Technical difficulties. I think Niko House is censoring the live stream.
Good. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Shit. Oh no. How the fuck do I? God damn it. Let me pause my recording so I don't fucking eat up all my hard drive space. I'm like running on the edge right here.
I'm not going to pause the recording, so mine's gonna have the unfiltered cringe.
That's all right. Okay. Yo, donate to DJElf7 so I could buy fucking a real setup.
There you go. There you go.
Whatever. Yeah. So where's my thing? Here. I may even have on this. Okay, so I'm shutting off one more time. I'm gonna shut off my keyboard. No, you don't switch. Okay, so now it detects my HDMI, but I gotta go to my settings or something to change it back to my camera, right? Okay, so user settings, video, voice and video. What the fuck is camera? Yeah, it says webcam. Okay, test video. Okay, I see myself on the thing. Do you see me now? Because I just tested myself.
If on the Discord pop up, do you see like show your camera, or turn it on, turn it off, sort of a thing?
I don't see the pop up. What happened? Okay, I see inbox. I see streamer media is enabled at the top.
Like you know where you see my webcam? If you hover over that with your mouse, do you see turn on camera?
No, I see a left arrow sign with your name on it. Okay, I just clicked on something. Okay, I clicked on something and I moved you to another window. Okay, now I do see you. Now I see my logo there on the screen.
Right.
So okay, I am in the pop out window now.
Do you when you hover over at the bottom? Wait. There you go.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Andrea.
There you go. Yeah, it's all good.
I need a hack in my life. What's up?
There you go.
Yeah.
So you're lucky I'm on the line and not,
I am. That's why I grabbed Discord the second you's like, oh, I know Discord. I'm grabbing Discord. I got free tech support right here.
Hell yes.
Thank you. All right. So I mean, look. Let's. Where are we in the conversation so far?
You wanted to mention the bill or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me look at my screen though. Yeah, make sure that I'm recording because I don't see you on the screen, so I'm not recording appropriately. Okay, so I'm maximizing the screen, changing the setup so we're side by side. That's a funny face right there. Okay, cool. Hitting, got to the OBS up. Let me just check the filters. Yeah, there might be some weird, funny. Okay, checking your filters clear. My filters clear. Your filters clear. So hopefully it's working good. Yeah. Okay, I'm hitting record again. We are back again.
All right. All right.
Andrea? Yeah, back after a little technical difficulty. I got a ghetto set up, so thanks for donating, and helping out with any cost there. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so Andrea, so we were talking about the bill for Tulsi Gabbard. So you present an alternate scheme to make sure that things are fair and that women just don't get beat up, by...
Well, it's not even just women getting beat up. I mean, this also is a thing where, men are not all equally... no human is the same as another human. There's a lot of scrawny, twink femboys that would, if they were in, a, typical male wrestling class, would probably get destroyed, right? So the whole idea is just to make it a more equal playing field.
Women have certain advantages, right? The thing is that the center of their body weight is actually lower than a man's. So that makes certain tasks, like they say, if you pick up a chair, right? Yeah, like without bending your legs, women can do that easier because their center of body is lower. So there's certain, they get access to certain, things like that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if you measure muscle density and bone density and things like that, you know what I mean? That does seem actually, and strength, that does seem like a fair matchup. But without that being in place, I think the possibility still exists for someone to get hurt. So I like your solution, to tell you the truth, better than just overall saying, we shouldn't allow this, right? It seems kind of simplistic, and it definitely cuts, and the thing is that, look, that's what I really, that's what's cool about us. We represent the bottom. Well, hopefully, right? I'm not sure about you, yeah, but I definitely represent the bottom.
I identify with the bottom. That is,
cool.
I am
that's what I like.
of that persuasion.
Whatever you are, you know what I mean? But the thing is that these trans people, they are, there will be some trans people that are, like you said before, right? Maybe they transitioned really early on and they don't really have those strength advantages. They don't have those other advantages, and they are maybe unfairly,
And just in my experience, I know thousands of trans people. I've been online. I've got a lot of trans people to follow me. Like, a lot of my friends are trans. I can tell you 99.999% of trans women are weaker than the average cis woman. Like, for example, before I started doing a little bit more strength training, because I had a real problem with this. I couldn't open a pickle jar. I could barely open a gallon of milk. I could not open a water bottle, right? So it's the average trans woman, unless they try really hard, which is the same with a lot of people, just are very weak. And that's
Yeah, when we're talking about the average, right? When we're talking about sports, we're talking about people that are working to become not average. You know
Absolutely,
what I mean?
absolutely.
Yeah, the game changes. So the thing is that to talk about people in a pre-sport state versus a post-sport state, it's not a really true equivalency. But
and it's another thing of like you said, people start their treatment at different times, right? Like, there's a lot of people that would start it at 16, 18, 20, 30, and these are all various factors that go into something, right? There is to try to paint all of that with one broad brush is where it gets bizarre. Is someone who transitions at the age of 16 going to be having the same exact physiology as someone that transitions at the age of 36? Of course not, right? But these kind of bills that Tulsi put out is just a simplistic kind of most people don't understand trans issues, so they're just going to go oh yeah, I saw one clip on YouTube somewhere of that happening, therefore whatever, Tulsi's awesome, right? And that's what I'm trying to fight against. I don't like Tulsi Gabbard because I think the sum of her parts, in my opinion, is a net negative. She does a lot of really good stuff, and if she does that good stuff, I'll say hell yeah, right? Her opinions on war, for example, are relatively good. Now, I think it's problematic with her certain relationships with India's prime minister, but we can go into that. It's all nuanced for me. Right, so it's my perspective is not from I'm not a fangirl of Tulsi Gabbard, so I can look at her good stuff, I can look at her bad stuff, and I can tell it how it is. And I feel there's a lot of people that are incapable of doing that.
I would love to talk about Tulsi Gabbard, but right now I feel the whole Rokfin
we can get back to that.
Is more immediate because the thing is that with censorship coming up, people are thinking about going to alternate platforms. Have you heard of something called Panquake?
I have not.
Okay, and then there's also Gab and Parler. There's a lot of choices that people
I'd like to rep Hive.
Might make. Yeah.
I'd like to rep Hive, the classic cryptocurrency Reddit similar, YouTube similar platform. You can get a lot of money on Hive, let me tell you.
Cool. So, look, the thing is that there's a time now where there's a lot of interest in alternate social media platforms. And, I think that this is actually a very relevant discussion right now because people are thinking about going to Rokfin. I want to, I do support Rock. I haven't signed up yet, but I do plan on doing so to support my friend Franco. I'm definitely I got your back, boy. You know what I mean? I got your back. No questions. That's how I is. You know what I mean?
There you go.
But, yeah, no doubt. But the thing is that there's a lot of people that are being left behind. If you go to Frank Analysis where he talks with Niko about it, maybe you can even look right now, yeah? Look at how many comments are oh, I couldn't get onto Rokfin. People are out starving, hungry, you know what I mean, trying to get that, trying to live, trying to make their dream come true, and someone's saying no. I don't want to be a part of that. I really don't.
That's the whole thing. If you're going to try to present yourself as a YouTube alternative, all right, great. So what's the problem with YouTube? Well, censorship, right? So it's all right, we're a YouTube alternative that you can't just make an account for immediately. Well, that's a little suspect. We're a YouTube alternative where, we have a top-down system of governance where if we don't like you for whatever personal reason, we can just deny your account creation. So what's the point of getting on a YouTube alternative? Might as well just make a YouTube account. At that point, what is the benefit of being on there, if not just to be in an exclusive clique or club or whatever?
Well, look, right, I think the benefit is this, right? Yeah, the thing is that their clique is being pushed off of YouTube because they have some beef right there, you know what I mean? So basically they are actually forming another YouTube with another set of censorship requirements, right? Yeah, so you either go with this guy or you go with that guy, you know what I mean? But if you want to have your own independent thought, you're not allowed to have independent thoughts. You got to either fit your framework, yeah? And I'm not here to, I have, and I'm not trying to bring down Rokfin. I'm still a fan of Niko, despite the fact that I do believe that he may be participating in a media blackout on me. I can still appreciate people for what they have, you know what I mean? And
Sure.
yeah, and the same thing that makes me maybe more understanding of the fact that Tulsi didn't come up with a perfect plan for this particular, because you are an American and your needs are legit, you know what I mean? And there deserves to be discussion on that. I would like to see Tulsi reach out to people that are unhappy with the bill and have more of a discussion, you know what I mean? That's I think that they deserve that, you know what I mean?
If Tulsi's listening, you're welcome on my show, Tulsi.
Tulsi never comes on Tulsi's not going to come on my channel. I'm pretty sure.
It's
of that.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't
That's
believe
crazy,
she would
right?
not. You're one of her biggest supporters, and she won't even acknowledge you. It's unreal.
Look, I'm a little dangerous though. You get when I get it. Look, I've owned businesses too. So even from Niko's perspective, I get where he might want to curate some. I get where he needs some control. I get some of that. You know what I mean? But I also get, you know what I mean, the needs of the bottom.
Sure.
And that is my group. So I get Niko's point, and I'm not saying he's wrong to do that, but people are being left behind. That's my people, and I will fight to make sure that they have a place and they get to get heard.
I think it's one thing if Niko were to be transparent about it. Like if he were to say, this is a website that's like my clique, my club, and if like we're cool, I'll let you on, and if we're not, you're not going to get on. If he were to just be 100% transparent about it, I would have less of a problem. Like if he were to just say like, yeah, I just, only will defend Tulsi even if she does questionable things because she pays me or I like her, like, I work out, or like I jerk off to her workout videos or something, right? Like if that's your thing, all right, sure, I'll take it, right? But like this whole thing of like trying to play it like it's a game, and I really I'm turned off by that like whole like chess like kind of like sort of way of looking at things. I'm just a really straight talker. I don't like playing the game kind of it's just, to me it's like a bunch of bullshit.
I don't like the game either, yeah, but we have to deal with the after effects.
Sure.
We have to deal with the stuff. I mean, honestly, when I saw what was happening to you, it made me uncomfortable. You know what I mean? When I saw like someone's being identified as a white supremacist, that's one of the worst things that you could call people in this current environment. You know what I mean? That's the perceived bad thing, right? It's really bad to be Asian, but it's really bad to be trans, right? Yeah, but according to this society, you call it a white supremacist. That's the worst term, even though really, So the thing is, I saw that those attacks on you, and it's funny because at the end of the Rokfin video, Niko says he doesn't like bullying, and I get that too, right? I'm in that way myself, right? But sometimes, even if you identify someone as a bully, that doesn't mean that you get to. Sometimes you got to fight back, but what? Once again, he's punching down on you. You get what I mean? It's not like you were threatening him. It's not like you were causing him a lot of problems. He just used you. It looked like to me as a means to get at someone else. Damn, really, bro? That seems.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, and it's also like again, it's very questionable that this guy is working with someone like Jack Posobiec on like anti-Antifa films. Right,
look,
which
I'm working with you. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff coming up.
Sure, yeah.
DJElf7 is working with a white supremacist. That's right to go the fuck up. Fuck all of y'all.
There you go.
That's what I got to say. You know what I mean? Honestly, I've been a fighter for and a whistleblower for a long time, and they always say shit about me. I don't believe anything someone talking shit about someone else. I get to know that person for myself. And
that's what I say too. That's why I'm like I've said before. I have debated Nazis. I have debated people that like Andrew Yang. I've debated the people that like Tulsi Gabbard. I've debated people that like Elizabeth Warren during the primaries. Right?
Do you know who Orphala is?
Yes.
Didn't he say bad things about black people?
He actually like as of yesterday was saying some bizarre shit.
Like it's not fair to just take one person's words at one time and just label that for the rest of life.
Sure,
I'm going to ask you right now, are you white supremacist?
Absolutely not.
Well, what the fuck then? You know what I mean? If you can't say to someone, I'm not a white supremacist, and they say you are, and that's where the conversation ends, that's not fair.
It's not a conversation. Yeah, it's just like, and the whole point of debates is like, I go into a debate with number one, like.
First of all, I still support Tulsi, but go ahead.
I'll work on that. We'll get that done. But yeah, so like I want to change people's minds. Like you said, you didn't know much about like the bill. I wanted to explain away so that you know what the critique is and you understand that, right? I want to, when I go into a debate or a conversation, I want someone to get out of that something that they did not know previously. My whole point of bringing people on my platform is not to agree with them or to have a friendly conversation the whole time. It's to, if we disagree, I'd like to explain my position. And that way also, if it's a public debate, anyone watching the debate then can have that understanding too. So it's not like just a one-on-one interaction. It's like a one-on-one interaction that could potentially get seen by thousands of people. And so if thousands of people watch this video and they maybe like Tulsi Gabbard and don't know why the bill is not necessarily the best thing in the world, right? They can maybe hear what I have to say, and then maybe, down the line, if they have a conversation about it, they know what my critique is and they're able to have that conversation. So like that's all I'm about. Like I want people to grow. I want people to educate themselves. I want to help educate other people. I want people to educate me, because there's a lot of things that I'm not perfect on, right? There's a lot of things that I don't know. So it's like, that's what I'm all about, is I just want people to grow. I want people to be better. I'm not about canceling people for what they did when they were a teenager. Even if someone like hated transgender people like a week ago and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I figured it out or whatever, like that's great. Like if you don't give people the opportunity to like grow and be better people, they're not going to be better people. Like that's the whole point.
And what's funny too is that a lot of these people that are condemning others, they'll work in like convict rights, and they'll work for like try to help out people that's been in jail, maybe even like murder people, or like goddamn, like why is it like you defend people on one angle from being prosecuted, but on the other angle you're ready to use the prosecution when it's in your favor? I mean, I do that too to an extent. I do live in a contradiction to an extent, because you see me going after people, I don't give a fuck. So that's what happens when you're on the bottom. You do. That's one definition of being gangster. You do what you got to do to survive. That's it. It's not about being a hard guy. It's not about being a tough guy. It's just about doing what you got to do to make it to the next day. That's gangster. So. Mm-hmm. So you know that definition?
I'm listening to your definition. I can understand the definition. I would not classify myself as a gangster, but I will say I try my best to.
It's just one definition, right? Yeah. Actually, technically, gangster doesn't really mean that, but that's one definition of it in my community. Yeah?
There you go.
All right. So also one thing I want to ask you too is that flag in the background, Antifa. Or Antifa, or whatever people want to say. I'm saying Antifa, you know what I mean?
I pronounce it Antifa. That's my pronunciation. As the official representative of Antifa Incorporated, that is how we pronounce it. It is Antifa.
Oh, did you know if you type in Antifa.com, it goes to Biden's website?
Yeah.
Can you confirm whether or not Biden is actually Antifa?
Biden actually is it's like kind of like a Batman situation. So like Biden is like the Batman, and then like at the end of the day he goes into the residence of the White House and he takes off the uniform. He's actually a secret anti-fascist super soldier.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
like if you look at, just real quick to expand this conspiracy theory, if you look at Joe Biden in like 2007 when he's still in the Senate, he looks a lot different. He's had a lot of some would say plastic surgery. He's had a lot of work done. Actually, he's Biden's somewhere in Hawaii somewhere having a vacation. It's actually someone in a Biden costume. That's actually an Antifa super soldier.
There's nothing real about that, too. Yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah?
Yeah.
Look, we could put things together. We could come to an agreement on some things. I wonder if that's going to be at the next Republican-Democrat cross-party agreement thing. We'll all agree Biden's whack.
There you go.
That would be interesting, yeah? I bet we could get some Democrats to agree on that one. We'll see. That could be a little bit like pulling teeth. Because I tried to pull in the Yang Gang for that one, and they're not really as strong anti-establishment as some of us should be or need to be. Yeah.
Yang Gang's a little questionable, but they're just having fun, so let them have it.
So what's your experience with Antifa? Like, that's interesting, because I know people in Antifa, so what's up?
Yeah, some of my earliest political organizing in 2017 and 18, when I first started getting into politics, was with anti-fascism. Because I quickly, when Trump was first elected, I didn't really pay attention to politics too much. But then it quickly was apparent how bad he was just for almost everybody. And so like it was very easy for me to go like, all right, I despise Donald Trump. I want to get involved with whatever is like possible of like, and then you see like all these Donald Trump like people like Charlottesville, for example, like all the Trump people going in there, and it's like literal neo-Nazis going through the streets like actually killing people, and it's like, this is not a joke anymore. This is not like something, it's like, you know, a hypothetical situation. Like, this is actually a serious, like, growing thing. So, like, around, like, 2018, I started getting into political organizing, and I lived in D.C. at the time. And so I just started doing anti-fascist protesting. A lot of, you know, I met a lot of anti-fascist activists and organizers. And so I'd, like, try to organize, you know, protests.
How did you meet these people?
Just going to demonstrations. You know, like, in D.C., there's basically shit going on every single day. Like,
that's how I met them too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in some aspects, yeah, but yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they're in obviously easy to recognize gear. You know what I mean? And
sure.
They're talking about, so that's cool. They don't, from what I know, they don't usually recruit. So there won't be usually people, like, they usually kind of stay to themselves. They don't really go out and like talk to other people. They never
sure.
really.
I mean, it's
wasn't sexy enough. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, it's you know, I would like, my position is like, I rep the anti-fascist like stuff, you know, because that's my political ideology. I'm not a part of any group. I'm not a part of any chapter. I'm not affiliated with any individuals per se. It's just my ideology. I organize with fellow anti-fascists. I've organized with Medicare for All activists. I've organized with, like, you know, foreign policy people, like anti-war people. You know, like, I've got all kinds of stuff that I organize with. I'm not a part of any individual group or whatever. Okay. It's just whoever's there and we're in agreement, I'm on your side, you know? That's my position. And so a lot of the people that I first started organizing with were anti-fascists. And so, you know, I did a lot of protests, or like, you know, anti-Proud Boy protests, that kind of stuff. I did a lot of like, you know, like soup drives for like homeless people and stuff like that in DC. I did like, you know.
Was that through like just Antifa itself?
I didn't get involved in any official things. I just, you know, went with a bunch of people, and we would, you know, give, you know, and as Donald Trump would say, soup for my family. We gave them, you know, we just help people out, and, you know, just talk to people, meet people, just like, you know, that kind of stuff, you know?
I found some experiences that I've had, and, you know, yeah, usually it's like a small group of people, like, you know, you just see them on the thing, you get to know them, you end up hanging out, and then you form a small clique. There's no formal organization or anything like that. You're not contacting nationals or anything like that. That really
exactly.
But, you know, different factions have different things going on, you know what I mean? Like, people talk about, because I was out of the country for a couple of years. When I came back, a lot of things changed. So Antifa was not so highly, like, recognized, and I don't really recognize this new Antifa that's around, you know what I mean? Like, Proud Boys, like, I came back and I was like, what is Proud Boys? You know, I didn't know. So all of a sudden it's come into a new angle. But I see that you're working around this electoral politics thing, and how does Antifa and someone in Antifa end up working in, you know, the electoral politics realm? Because that's kind of like, you get what I'm saying, right?
Well, I moved from D.C. to North Carolina, and there's not that much political organizing because I live in a really small town. So I just got involved with the Bernie Sanders campaign, because my whole thing is, if you know, I had a YouTube channel, so I started a political show, and it's like
Carolina's very important because of those primaries. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so like I was like, I'm in North Carolina now. You know, Bernie's to the you know, my calculation is that Bernie was the most left candidate. Maybe you can disagree, and we can have that discussion another time. But I was like, I want to try to help Bernie Sanders win. That would be like, you know, something I can do. I can't do protests or demonstrations or activism like I used to in a major city, right? So I just tuned my activism to what was more appropriate for me and what was more realistic for me. And as far as my YouTube show is concerned, I cover electoralism. I cover, like, you know, labor strikes. I cover protests. You know, especially during the summer.
Yeah. You notice that a lot of these progressive media types don't talk about labor that much. They always talk about, like, you know, the people. Where's the labor at? Interesting. Okay, cool, nice.
Yeah, I try to, like, just do everything, you know? You know, electoralism is not the only tool in the toolbox, but it is a tool in the toolbox, and if it's something to talk about, it's something to talk about, you know?
Yeah, so, look, right now what you're seeing right here is a difference in philosophies as in terms of the way, you know, myself and Niko would handle things, you know? I'm still a fan of Niko and what you've accomplished amazing things, probably more than I will ever accomplish in this field. Probably because of the things that I'm doing right now, but I will always put out a hand to. So, look, Andrea's been great. I think that we already agreed that Biden's whack. We've had some points of agreement.
Yeah, fuck
right?
that guy.
Right. We agree that on some points of the regarding trans issues, but then we have other differences. But that's okay, and we're going to continue to discuss. And that's really how we're going to move forward. Not this kind of like, you know, oh, you're white. What the? Come on, man. That's kind of, you know, we could have an ally right here. Isn't that Art of War, whatever, fuck that guy, you know what I mean? But you gain more from having friends than enemies, and why go to war? Why do we need to hurl Andrea to the ground? What? I don't like to see anybody hurled to the ground.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I don't think Niko is.
Go ahead, but she not fucking really with anybody.
Yeah.
She was just standing in the way, and she got fucking blown up.
I don't think Niko's trying to accomplish like a leftist agenda. I think he's just trying to, like you said, he's just trying to build his brand and gain power.
Yeah. So look, Niko, I'll say this as a friend, bro. You know what I mean? Maybe you think I'm not being a friend. Maybe you think I'm trying to. I'm not, man. But as a friend tells you when you're fucking up, bro. You know, my friend tells you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, look, it's just a different opinion. Maybe you're right in this. You got all this experience, blah blah whatever. But in my opinion, you know what I mean? I might take a lot of heat for this. What the fuck do I care? You know what I mean? Andrea, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of people out there that Niko deals with so many people. You think that even one of them might be a little bit racist? I know they are. You can't be. There's no fucking way. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Nobody's perfect in this world, and you know what I mean? I don't know you. I'm just new to you, Andrew. You seem cool to me. I don't know. Maybe there's something else gonna pop up. I don't know. Maybe something. You're new to me as well. But this is. Hey, thanks. When I see someone stepped on, I just want to reach out to them.
Sure.
I've been watching. Yeah, I've been bugging you, haven't I, Andrew?
I mean, I reached out to you first, and then it's like we kept missing each other. You'd be free when I'm not free, and I'd be free when you're not free.
Yeah.
But I real quick, I'd like to move over to the People's Party a little bit as our last discussion because
the scoop that all the other progressive media channels are missing out on because they're playing politics instead of worrying about the people.
Sure.
Go ahead. What's up? I'd be glad.
Yeah, I found your channel from you were basically talking about how Nick Brana is kind of he just kicks people out of the People's Party whenever they have slight disagreements. And now we've seen this recently with the Our Revolution Los Angeles basically releasing a big public statement. You see Ryan Knight having to take a step back from the People's Party, right? So they've been kind of getting exposed on a grander level. But I've been trying to get into this because for me, when I first started following the Force the Vote thing, I noticed that Nick Brana and Jimmy Dore harped on it. It was somewhat decent idea, and they tried to make it their idea. And then you see all these Slack things come out where it's yeah, we're just doing this just to make people hate AOC, and it's wait a second, what? Right? And then you look at that Force the Vote thing that they did in DC, and you were there, right? And the People's Party almost had no organizational apparatus, but they were trying to take credit for it. You had Nick Brana going up there trying to do these bizarre campaign ad speeches that and it's why are you trying to take credit and lead something instead of actually building that thing? You know what I mean?
Well, actually, that's interesting on that, because the thing is that I've been an organizer for a long time, more than 20 years in the game. I'm 45. I'm much older than I. So the thing is, that's often when people underestimate me. That's a surprise, yeah. But the thing is that you've been around the movement as well. You said you were at protests and stuff like that, right? So here's an experience that actually I saw early on back when I was protesting the wars in Iraq back in the 90s, I think that was, yeah? So the thing is that I went to a march for, against the war, and then what was really sad was it was in D.C., and at the beginning of the parade, people were fighting to be at the front of it. You know what I mean? Because they want to take credit or they want to be the leaders and stuff. And I was like, this is fucked up. This is the reason why the left can't get it together. It's because of these dumbass leaders playing these squabbling games, pointing the fingers at each other while the people underneath them are suffering. Yeah? So, now the thing is that, did you also, so you said that you see this going on with Force the Vote, but for me, it's just a story that's been played many times before. So it's all predictable to me. That's why I was able to predict this way out ahead in advance, because I've seen it so many times. Have you seen this situation before of people trying to take credit for stuff? And doesn't it seem, to me, it seems like it's just another day in the park?
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. Absolutely. It happens in online communities. I mean, even it happens in it's a high school lunch table kind of situation, someone wants to be the cool kid and have everyone else kind of organize around them, rather than everyone has their own things. That's all this a lot of stuff is. And you see this a lot in video game communities. You see this a lot in Facebook fan pages. You see this a lot in almost every groups.
our school system teaches children to be like this.
Exactly. Yep.
You got to be the top of your class. It's not about helping others. You're going to get into Harvard, and everybody else will have to go to the community college.
They're going to lick your toes when you're rich, and it's like, buddy, you're never going to be rich. Like, you've been lied to. And that's like, and then you see this with like these super popular podcasters like Jimmy Dore and like, you know, these people like the Nick Brana of the People's Party. It's like, how can I, you know, I've got the People's Party. This is my narcissistic project. How can I use whatever the popular trending hashtag is to my benefit? That's what I felt like that Nick Brana was doing. And so like,
he definitely was poaching on to an extent. But here's the weird thing, right? Yeah. I remember that you said before, right? I'm going to zone in on that, you know, because that's also something that I don't really, I try, you know, consistent or whatever. But earlier you said Nick Brana takes anybody with a little difference from his idea and kicks them out. You know what I mean? I would not actually agree with that.
Okay. Well, feel free to correct me.
No, it's okay. He's willing to make changes as long as it doesn't threaten his direct control. It's a control game. You know what I mean? So he'll give you whatever you want. You know what I mean? He'll try not to. You know what I mean? But if you want, like, you know, a certain amount of democracy, he'll give it to you, or a name, or he'll give you something that looks like it. You know what I mean? He'll try to make you happy. You know what I mean? But in the end, he'll never
it's the iron law of institutions. It's you care more about your power within the institution rather than the power of the institution. So Nick Brana and the People's Party could get 0.00001% of the vote as long as Nick Brana is the leader. Or if the other option is the People's Party could get like 8% of the vote, well, if that happens and Nick Brana's not the leader, then who cares, right? It's all about Nick Brana's power within that institution. He has to retain control at all costs. You know, so it's like if the disagreement that you pose to him is like, you know, I get to keep control and the People's Party gains, all right, then that's fine with me. But if it's like a, you know, oh, you want democracy, you want to like maybe have someone with more say than me or equal say than me, I don't know about that, right?
You even call it People's Party, you get smacked right now, Nick. You know what I mean? Try to call People's Party my face. You know what I mean? That's Nick's party. Don't you even dare try to call that a People's Party. Fucking liar. Don't fucking lie to me.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah, anyways, yeah, so, look, so the thing is that, like, just as I give you a chance, right, yeah, I'll give also, even though the fact that Nick's digging into me, the people could benefit from some, like, he's got some clout. He's got people listening to him. He has some organizational ability to get it as far as he did. He could be an asset. You know what I mean? Even people that cut me down, because I love trying to put the power in people's hands so much. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck am I in this? You know what I mean? I'm a nobody. I've always been a nobody. I will always be a nobody. I will never be promoted. I don't believe that I will ever be given anything. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with that. You know, I'm ready to go to the grave. You know what I mean? So
well, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. You got another 40, 50 years left.
You never know. I'm ready to die tomorrow. You know what I mean? I'll die for this shit. You know what I mean? So the thing is that the YouTube one thing, so you see that I'm trying to make excuses for people to assume that I try to be understanding of them. So when I look at other progressive YouTubers who are not covering this issue, I'm thinking to myself, maybe they just have no activist background. They've never seen organizations with what you call the institutional law, iron law, which sounds familiar to me. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit. What do you think?
I would say a lot of these people that are on YouTube are not people that are engaged in activist backgrounds. I mean, I really only got into activism in 2018 and 2019. And like started getting interested in it in 2017. But like when I did get interested in it, I lived in DC, so I'd go to protests like every single day. I'd go to a protest like, you know, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. So it's like I might not have been in it for a long period of time, but I did do a lot of various like different things, and like I learned a lot about that. And so when I started my YouTube show, that was like one of the things I wanted to have that key understanding of like what it's like to be on the ground, what it's like to be in a protest, what it's like to have cops like barricade or bash through a barricade and beat the shit out of the guy next to you for just like looking at them the wrong way. Like I know what that's like. So it's like I notice a lot of these people on YouTube have never been to protests, and that's fine, and maybe that's not their role, and their role is just to be the commentator or whatever. But my opinion was I thought I had a unique experience. I wanted to start a show, and I wanted to like, you know, do what I can to help, you know, the ideals that I possess. And I'm an anarchist, right? I want decentralized power. I want all people to rise in this world. I want everyone to be equal. I want everyone to love each other. So that's my thing. And so, like, you know, I think a lot of these people on YouTube just aren't activists, or, you know, and maybe, you know, they're activists, but their role in activism is to be the YouTube guy, but they're not, like, protesters. They've never been in that position. And everyone could benefit from knowing people or having people on their show that have been in those positions, right? But I think it is, like, there's a combination of, like, a genuine ignorance. Like, they just don't know to look for those things. They just don't know to study those things, right? Because I noticed this in the summer with the Black Lives Matter protests that were going on, right? Like, I covered as many of those as I possibly could. Like, I would try to cover each protest in each city, like, even cities I'd never been to. I, like, if you look at my videos from the summer, I do, like, videos on, like, you know, Georgia, Tennessee. I do videos on North Carolina. I do videos on, obviously, you know, Minnesota. I do videos in California, like Seattle and Washington. I do, like, Oregon. You know, I try to, like, cover every single state, and then, like, you know, look, like, I try to get interviews of people, like, you know, I found them on Twitter, and I saw a lot of people would just say, oh yeah, there's Black Lives Matter protests going on, and, like, that's their commentary. It's like, oh yeah, there's protests going on. It's like, well, there's a lot more going on than just there's protests going on, you know what I mean? And so, like, I feel like a lot of people just don't have that initial experience that I do or that you do, and that, like, just gives them a very biased toward this, like, just really detached version of commentary.
Yeah, and I think another reason why that commentary is so appealing to because most of the people do not have activism experience.
Exactly.
So they're listening to someone who has the same understanding as they do, and they're not really, you know, and they really get a one-colored side view. But the fact of the matter is that people who have, because of my long experience, my 20 years in activism, right, I've learned that a lot of times you have to learn to compromise. The reality is it's very hard for things to line up with ideology, and they say no plan survives an encounter with the enemy, right? Yeah? So fuck having enemies, right? Yeah, I mean, if you gotta have them, you gotta fucking have them. But I guess, is there any other particular topics you wanna cover in this particular episode? I think we covered a good amount, yeah?
Yeah, we can always do another one of these, like, next week or something. I'm fine with that.
Okay, so I'm going to leave with the final note, and then I'll actually give you a chance to make a final note after I say it, right? Yeah, I think that's the only polite thing to do.
Sure.
But, you know, I guess I'll go first. Yeah, I think that's in the rap battle, you know what I mean?
Go for it.
Better show improve. So, look, this message goes out to Niko. I'm pretty sure you're going to watch this. Yeah, your ego won't let you not watch it. Yeah, I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, plus Andrea's in here. Yeah. Look, I cooked this up, too. I could plot stuff, too, yeah? But the thing is that, look, you know, Andrea, she says force the vote in concept is not necessarily a bad idea. She has some issues, that's fine. We could have a discussion about it. She doesn't agree with the trans thing, but, you know, in some ways we can agree, and she's allowed to have her own position. I don't see any real other significant points of difference, and she agrees that Biden's no good, which is really the big fight kind of here. You know what I mean? One of the big fights, and she could be a powerful ally. She's got way more subscribers than me. Also, why are you putting her on to attack her when someone like myself, you know, with a first-person nation, it's not making sense, man. So I'm going to ask everybody who's watching this, you know what I mean? I know people come after me. I want you to come after me. Now, I really don't, you know what I mean? But if you're going to be like that, you know what I mean? Come after me, you know what I mean? Yeah,
sure.
I'll eat that, you know what I mean? But for all y'all that are still listening, we can create a new future where we work together, you know what I mean? This whole kind of like, you know, I can't think of any. What happened to you? I can't really put anything more. I would say that's canceling someone. And
yeah, I'm not about that. Like, I want, like, yeah. You know, let me take this example of recently Jimmy Dore had this interview.
I'll say before I let you take over. Yeah.
Okay.
Niko, don't, you know what I mean? And we look at Rokfin with this whole, like, kind of exclusionary thing, you know what I mean? Look, Andrea already doesn't believe she would get put on Rokfin. I don't either. That's not a good situation, man. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask all the followers, right? I'm not saying Niko is bad. You know what I mean? I get where, you know, you get busy with day-to-day stuff. You're fighting battles all the time. You might make a decision like that. You know what I mean? But I think you need to reconsider. We're all humans here. Andrea is a human too. Whatever mistakes she made in the past, that's the fucking past, bro. That's the fucking past, man. People deserve opportunity redemption. How many fucking criminals you were with? There's mad people in jail on the streets, man. There's a dude right there, you know what I mean? He maybe stole my fucking hamburger the other day. I'm homeless, living in the street, dude. You know what I mean? Next day, you know what I mean? When cops show up, who's, you know what I mean? Who? And he gives a, ooh, ooh, you know what I mean? Cops is there, you know what I mean? Yo, still, you know what I mean? When you are on the bottom, you don't get to choose who your friends are. Everybody's your friend because you cannot afford to have anybody fuck with you. You get what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sorry that you had to go through that, Andrea. I just didn't like it at all. Yeah.
I
Maybe
appreciate
I'm wrong
that.
in it. You'll see. Yeah, but yeah, I'll let you take it over from
Yeah,
here.
I mean, like, my thing is, like, and I want to wrap this into this recent controversy, because Jimmy Dore had this Boogaloo Boy interview that, like, was super controversial. And, like, there's a lot of this, well, people who watching might know. There's a lot of, like, conversation about, like, oh, you're not allowed to talk to people that you disagree with, and, like, all that kind of stuff. I think you should always talk to people you disagree with, but you shouldn't talk to people that you disagree with, and then if they say something ridiculous, like, oh yeah, I hate transgender people, you shouldn't be like, well, alright. You should push back on that. You should try to make them improve. You should try to fix their incorrect positions. Like, you can have conversations with people, but you shouldn't give people the room to say bad things or spew hatred or spew vitriol, right? That's my position. It's like, I want to enter in any interaction. If someone has an interaction with me, I want them to be better off in the future. I want their lives to improve because they had this conversation with me or interaction with me. I want them to learn something about my position. I want to learn something about their position, right? If someone hated me 3 months ago and they come to me and say, like, you know, I didn't mean what I said, I didn't know what I was talking about, and now, you know, like, that's fine with me. Like, recently I had someone who, like, literally tried to get me killed several years ago, and they reached out to me, like, you know, out of the blue, and they were like, I'm really super sorry about all that, like, I, you know, was in a really bad spot in my life. And I'm like, you know what, okay, you know, like, you know, that, whatever, I accept your apology. Everything's cool now. I'm glad that you had that opportunity to reflect. I'm glad that you had that, like, life-altering moment where you realized what you're doing was wrong. Like, and that's my whole thing, is I want people to be better. I want people, because if you don't give people the opportunity to learn, you're only going to reinforce their bad behavior. Because if they feel like, if they grow up, you know, if they learn more and there's no space for them anywhere, what's the incentive? You know, like, what, are they just going to be lonely? You know, like, and being lonely sucks.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? If you throw me in the trash, then you can expect trash things to fucking come out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, yeah. So I'm not sure that, you know, he's. But fuck that. I mean, I said you get the last word, so you got the last word. Yeah. So that's up to you. Yeah. There we go. So, look, I honor my word. You know, that's how we go. So
there you go.
Us out, you know what I mean? Share with them your social media, whatever, so they could follow you.
My Twitter account is Pogs for Bernie. My YouTube account is Cyberdemon531. What?
Is that POGS?
That is PAWGS. Thank you very much.
What is the POG?
I am not sure. That's like a Twitch meme. Fuck Twitch.
What is? Yeah, I don't. I'm sorry, I'm out of it. Do you know?
I will let people Google things on their own volition if they would like to learn. Google.
PAWG? Is it like related? Is that like a
It
joke?
is very unrelated. It is not a joke in any capacity. Okay. My YouTube. What?
What is PAWGs for Bernie? What is PAWG?
It's a group of individuals it's a group of certain attributed individuals that decide to take a political stance of supporting Bernie Sanders. I, of which, am a chief participant in them. But my YouTube show is called Above It All. You can go find that. It's on, like, you know, Spotify and all that dumb shit. I don't know. I haven't updated that in like a month. I probably should, but I've got a Hive page, Cyberdemon531. That's an alternate social media site. My website is speed.dog, D-O-G. You can go there if you want to find some other stuff about me. And there you go.
Hey, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah. What's your stuff? Because I might upload this on my channel. So what's your stuff?
Well, DJElf7, that's DJ, there's no space, ELF, right? Like every lady's fantasy, the last number 7. Yeah, that's not what it stands for, but that's what my boy came up with, you know what I mean?
There you go.
Better than saying some other things that I could say the ELF stands for, but we're not going to talk about that, yeah?
Like the movie with Will Ferrell?
Absolutely effing not, yeah? You think that I'm going to be like that corny-ass motherfucker? Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah? All right, a powerful stance.
You just look up ELF. ELF can be super hardcore. You get what I mean? But we don't need to talk about it.
Absolutely. There's a lot of things that can be hardcore.
Exactly.
There you go. Well, yeah, this is a good convo. We got to do it again.
I felt like there was an injustice, and just the fact that talking to you, whenever I see someone beat up, I always want to run to them and talk to them and make sure that they alright. You alright?
I'm pretty good, actually. Thank you.
No doubt. Yeah. Okay. Holler at me anytime. All right. One love, all right?
I will holler at you in a very loud volume. I will make I would make you adjust your volume because I will yell so loud.
Get at me. That just means like send me a text. It could be anything. Yeah.
I know.
I ain't mad at that. Yeah.
Sure.
When you holler, yell DJElf7, let him know who's the best. Yeah, that's me. Nah, just kidding. Yeah. Yo, I am like Niko, right? You could see that, right? Yeah, there is some element.
You're like Niko, but intelligent and not that much of a bitch. So.
Sometimes, he's surrounded by a lot of heat. You know what I mean? He's surrounded by, right? I'm free. I'm a little guy. I don't have to deal with all the people. Niko this, Niko that. Help me, Niko, blah, blah. I don't got to deal with that. You get what I mean? He's going through his own thing. You know what I mean? So try to understand his position, too. I know it's kind of fucking when someone calling you fucking, all these things and trying to destroy you. You know what I mean?
Again, if Niko came out to me and said, like, tomorrow, like, if he were to say, if I woke up tomorrow with a DM from Niko House that said, I just saw your show with DJ Elf. I'm sorry about that. I'd be fine with it. I'm all good with it.
That's big of you because you don't have to be like that. You know what I mean? But love out. That's what makes the world go round and go further to a certain extent. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But remember, she said if the guns keep coming, then the guns.
Oh yeah, I'm not backing down. There's definitely no backing down.
Don't back down. Fight for yourself every fucking day. Yeah. Thanks again.
Sure.
All right.
So
stop record. Is that okay?
I'm gonna hit stop recording in 3, 2, 1. All right, it's over.